Okay guys, how's it going? So, a little quick test view I thought I'd share because I think some people may find this interesting to see how ReelSteady handles different types of shots basically. So, ReelSteady, in case you don't know, is an application for smoothing out your footage, and a lot of FPV drone quad flyers use it because it does an absolutely amazing job of smoothing out rough flying and making things look more cinematic and just smoother and more appealing to watch basically. So I thought I'd show a few different examples here. So I did a couple of flights today. So the shots along the top are with a little cine whoop, so fairly sort of mild, gentle movements with that. And then at the bottom we have a 5-inch freestyle quad, so more aggressive flying, faster flips and loops and rolls and things like that. So on the left hand side, that's the raw shots coming out of camera, out of the Hero 8 basically, 4x3 4K, which is my preferred way of capturing for ReelSteady. And then we have down the middle, we have the standard default ReelSteady Go smoothed shots, stabilized footage. And then down the right, we have the locked horizon mode. Now you can get a few glitches with the locked horizon mode depending on how your flying is and also how long the clip is. It tends to be slightly harder to stabilize as you would expect because it's doing a lot more work. You sometimes have to add additional sync points, and it's generally a little bit more temperamental. But I thought it would be quite interesting just to show you what you can achieve with different quads and different styles of flying. Because things like, with a 5-inch freestyle quad, if you're looping and back looping and stuff, you're obviously going to get some quite interesting results if you try to stabilize the horizon, because the quad is literally flipping around in the air. And the application ReelSteady is desperately trying to level that horizon for you, so you can get some pretty janky, weird effects, which are generally unwanted. But you never know; some people might want some of these weird effects to be incorporated in the video. So let's have a look at that again, and I'll talk specifically. So let's just talk about the top shots first of all. So this was just me, beauties of cine whoop flying, because obviously they're much safer to fly around people. It's just flying around my young daughter, just following her around. There was a bit of a breeze that was pushing me off to one side slightly, but I was just trying to keep her, roughly in center of shot and follow her. And as you can see, the on the right hand side there, the locked horizon mode does a fantastic job of really keeping the horizon level, but you also can sort of lose your subject if you don't have them bang in center of shot, because it has to crop quite a lot just to be able to stabilize it, because it's forcing its way into that 4:3 aspect ratio and cutting out a chunk of the frame that it needs to in order to be able to level out the entire horizon and also correct for the distorted lens. You don't have that bendy lens thing going on. Let's have a quick look at the shots at the bottom now. So I've done a couple of loops already, as you've probably noticed. There's one coming up in a minute. So it's quite interesting seeing how the locked horizon mode responds when you're doing quite aggressive flying moves. So here comes a roll, as you can see from the bottom right shot there. So it cropped right the way in. It looked a bit janky and kind of like slightly glitchy, but it did actually keep the horizon level, even though the quad was doing an entire rotation, a complete barrel roll. So for certain situations, now I'd say that you really shouldn't be flying like I was with the 5-inch freestyle quad and have it on the locked horizon mode. It's just too janky. But there is certain situations where you would want to use locked horizon mode on a freestyle quad. For instance, if I needed to follow a car for a tracking shot following a fast car, my little cine would not be able to keep up with it, so I'd have to use my 5-inch. And if you're flying sideways trying to keep up with the car flying, that would be a really, really application for the locked horizon, because you could be flying pretty much at 45 degrees, keeping up with the car doing 50 miles an hour, and the horizon would be nice and level, and it would look like a fairly cinematic shot. Anyway, there you go. It's just a little sort of demo. I thought it'd be quite interesting to compare all these. This was my favorite shot from today. Again, just a candid shot of my daughter, but has a kind of like the hills are alive with the sound of music kind of feel. And it was sunny as well, so you can't complain. One last thing I'd say about this is, if you are using ReelSteady and you're having fairly aggressive movements with the drone, you do need to have a fast shutter. So if you put your NDs on to get that kind of cinematic motion blur, you are going to get motion blur artifacts in your footage, because the camera has to stabilize these shots, and then if you have all this motion blur going on, then that will come across in the final thing. So unfortunately, you do have to have a fairly fast shutter to get away with some of this stuff with ReelSteady. I just thought I'd give that bit of info. Anyway, guys, I hope that was vaguely interesting. Peace out, and I'll catch you next time.